Long time no speak. If you can say that since 2019 is a long time, I think it probably is a long time. I'm back. So last time I did a video was about mental health, and I'm going to continue on a similar trajectory, though thankfully in a more positive light these days. It will come as absolutely no shock to anybody that was following me back in 2008, I think it was, when I was making covers of Depeche Mode, um, that I am, like Dave and Martin, autistic. Um, it came as quite a shock when I found that out last year, actually, when I was 31. To go through your entire life thinking that you are quote unquote normal, but always feeling very much not normal. Um, yeah, it was quite a surprise to discover that that's the reason why things have been quite difficult for quite a lot of my life, and why I've always felt a little bit like an alien in this very pale Michael Jackson esque appearance. But in light of this, I wanted to start coming back onto YouTube and talking about my experiences, because I think, especially for women, it's very much a new frontier. So I am what you would call low support needs ASD1. I don't really ascribe to the disorder model. So at the moment, it's autism spectrum disorder, but there are kind of movements to change it to condition. And I think this is a whole other different topic for another day, and I think I will definitely cover it because it's very contentious at the moment. So basically, autism was squished into one category in 2013, I think it was. The new DSM-5 came out, which is like the diagnostic criteria for all mental health disorders and whatnot. And back then, they put Asperger's in with autism and kind of made it its own spectrum disorder. Um, this was in part because Asperger's is actually named, or Asperger's if we're in America, which I always find really funny, and I'm kind of glad that I don't have Asperger's for that reason. But Asperger was a Nazi, so that's why we don't want to be talking about him anymore. So of course, that's that's one of the reasons. But anyway, so I have lived a weirdly neurotypical life, which explains a lot of the difficulties. I've worked in a corporate job for the best part of 10 years, and I have found it completely exhausting. Very fulfilling at times, but socially pretty damn difficult. That's led to a whole smorgasbord of different mental illnesses. So I will talk about them in more depth in different videos, but just to give you a quick idea of the trajectory. So at 14, I was diagnosed with anorexia and body dysmorphia. That then went on to general anxiety and depression when I was 18, then borderline personality disorder when I was 25, then complex PTSD when I was 28. Then that was then changed. Well, not changed, but then autism. And now they're also talking about obsessive compulsive disorder, which is incredibly common apparently with people with autism because there's a lot of overlap with like rigid thinking and patterns and rumination. But yeah, I'm just kind of saying a lot of things right now. But these are kind of topics that I want to specialize in different videos. I just wanted to come back online and say hello. It's been a long time. Um, and kind of get a gauge of if anyone is interested in any particular topics, then they can let me know. But I've got plenty to go off. I've also been writing on Substack for a little while now about my experiences. And I also want to talk about the intersection between alcohol problems and late diagnosed autistic people, women in particular, because I quit drinking after a pretty gnarly 15-year relationship with booze. And that's when the wheels started to kind of fall off the life that I had somehow created. And I found it suddenly just very difficult to socialize, just very draining. The hypervigilance with conversation and the mask that I'd built up of, how to kind of seem normal in the world, you could start seeing the cracks very quickly, which is not great. And that led me to pursue a diagnosis. So my half sister is also autistic, and that was kind of what got the idea percolating for me. But I've always known that something's a little bit skew-if. I'm very sensitive, generally, very sensitive to sound, and yeah, I just basically spent any time outside the house, outside of my career, under the influence of alcohol when I could help it. And that made everything much better. And now I'm kind of raw dogging life, which is proving sometimes quite difficult. But yeah, I just wanted to give a quick kind of re-intro, and then I'll come back on again soon and specialize in a topic, or maybe just go into more detail instead of this weird overview, because I'm not very good at elucidating without going onto a mad tangent. But yeah, if you have any questions, or there's anything, or you'd like to say hello to my cat who's staring at the wall, he's probably also neurospicy, then let me know. But otherwise, I will speak to you again soon.